Hello. So today at this lesson, we are going to work on page 19. And that's about it, I think, in the book. And then we're going to get into a little bit of chording, starting to work on Lean on Me. So something a little bit fun and more poppy kind of sounding for today. Hopefully by this point, you're really clear on your finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the clefs, treble clef, bass clef, how staffs and bar lines and measures and time signatures work. And most importantly, or also note values, quarter note, half note, and whole note. And then also that you're really, really familiar with your keyboard. Like if you play a note, that's C, this is F, G, B, A, F, E, A, that you just have that under your fingers and you just know really well where all those notes are on your keyboard. And if you're not terribly familiar with that yet, go back and review it on a daily basis until you just know that, no problem at all. Okay, so page 19, My Invention, introduces a new note. And the new note is in the bass clef, and it's an F. It's on the 4th line. Remember, we always count up from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the 4th line, and if you see those 2 dots in your bass clef, the 4th line is right in between those 2 dots, and that's where your F is. And remember, above the bass clef, that's middle C, and all notes lower are below to the left of that on the piano. So this F is below middle C. And then the other notes we have are the C and the G, C in the right hand, middle C in the right hand, and the G above it that we already have learned. So it says to put finger 3 on the F in the left hand. So your finger 3 will be here. Here's my middle C. On that F, tells me to use 1 on middle C, and then I'm going to use 5 on my G. Okay, so first of all, you could clap and count this song. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that's a half note there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because there's 4 beats in each measure. That top number of my time signature tells me that. I'm just going to take a minute, and it was back, I think, in our second lesson on exploring seconds on page 12. I realized afterwards I made a little blooper, and I think one time I said I was going to name the finger numbers, and I named the notes instead. So I'm hoping that didn't create any confusion for anybody. I just didn't notice until afterwards that I had done that. So anyway, back to my invention. So finger 3 on F, right hand thumb on C, and I'm going to name the notes. F, C, G, C, F, C, G, C, F, F, then C, G, F, F, C, and G, C, G, C, F, C, G, C, F, F, C, and G, F, F, F. One more time through, I'll count it. Make sure your fingers are nice and curved in that relaxed hand position. So that's how that one goes. And then when you're ready, this is the duet part. And I'll play it 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My invention. And I think we'll leave it there for today in this book. And we'll look a little bit at chording and lean on me. So chords or triads, which are 3-note chords, tri meaning 3, are built with a first note, a third note, and a fifth note. They're built on skips, intervals of a third, what we learned. So like this, C, E, and G. We always name chords by the bottom note. So here my bottom note is C, so it's a C chord. If I played this one, G is the bottom note, so it's a G chord. This one, E is the bottom note, so it's an E chord, and so on. So when you're building chords, eventually you'll know different what's called key signatures and stuff like that. But we have major chords, major triads, and minor triads. Today we're going to work on major triads. They just sound differently and have different spacing between the notes. This is a major triad. This is a minor. Here's an F major. Here's an F minor. Here's a B flat major. Here's a B flat minor. So today we're going to be working strictly on major chords. When you're learning major chords, in order to form them, when you don't know key signatures and stuff yet, you need to think of 4-3, always 4-3, which means if I take from my C, I count up 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, then that's my next note, and then I count up 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's my C chord. If I want to form an F chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. So A, and 1, 2, 3. So F, A, C. I'll do one more because that's the other chord we're going to work on today is G. So we already know where there's skips apart, so we could form it like that, or we could count up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So that's forming the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. Okay. This gets a little bit more complicated down the road, but if we're thinking in the key of C, in the key of C major, this is a 1 chord because C is on the bottom. That's the first note. This is a 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's the 4th note of C. And then this G chord is the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is G. If you think of just even our C pentascale, C is 1, F is 4, and G is the 5th note. 4th note and 5th note. So that's, you can already hear just from me playing that there's the tendency for our ear to want to go back to, because then we're back in C, we're back in the key we're in. You're wanting to get back to C, to end on C there. Okay, so try moving around those chords. You can play one at a time. Or however, just play around with moving from a C chord to an F chord to a G chord. There's so many songs, pop songs and stuff that Music is based primarily in any song around the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord. And the song we'll look at today, Lean on Me, is based around the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So you can practice playing, say, those chords in the right hand, and I'll play it up here, and say, take 2 C's in the left hand. Stretch it out, play 2 C's when the C's on the bottom. And then when the F, F-A-C, play 2 F's on the bottom. And when the G's on the bottom in the chord, and then we could go back to F, say, and then let's go back to C. Or you could do that the opposite way and play the chord, the C chord in the left hand, and play 2 C's or 1 C in the right hand. And then let's go to F. So F and 2 F's in the right hand. And G, G's, and then C's. So I'm going to show you the right hand of Lean on Me right away here before we wrap it up for today, but I'm just going to play those chords so you can see how that's going to work in the left hand. So we have the C chord, F chord, C chord, G chord, or you could go down to C here, F, C, G. And as you get more and more comfortable with it, you can break those notes up eventually, which we won't do this week, but we will. Like that. So making music. So play around with those C chords, F chords, and G chords. For the right hand of Lean on Me, we're going to be based in that C pentascale in the right hand. So put your thumb on middle C. We're actually not going to use the finger 5 at all. We're going to only use up to finger 4. One time at the end, we're going to go out of this position, but only for one note, and I'll show you that. So we're, what are the words? Sometimes in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. If we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. I think that's as far as we're gonna go. So you start on C, then another C, and play another F. Then another C, and we're starting again. This is the one exception when our thumb's going to sneak down to B, and then our finger 2 will end up on C, and that's it. So the idea is for you to try and pick that melody out by ear, although you have it for me demonstrating it for you right there. But if you're not watching the lesson and trying to, it's a familiar enough song that you should be able to try and pick that out. I'll do it one more time. I'll name the notes. C, C, D, E, F, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, E, D, C, C, D, E, F, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, B, C. Okay, so the one song in the book, Lean on Me, the right hand, and playing around with those chords, the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. And remember when you're forming major chords, 4, and then 3, counting up from the notes. If you want, if you're ambitious, you can look at forming other chords, even starting on black notes. Say starting on this note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's another chord. So always 4 and 3, and then you can learn all the major chords. So we'll leave it there for today and have fun learning chords and lean on me. See you next time.